It starts with an A and ends with anxiety. Off the charts levels of passion. That's just a nightmare. With you wherever you are. Welcome to LFR. Man. We're going to do a true one-taker here. This is for winning the American League. I haven't even taken the stickers off yet. No. 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 No! All 3 outs in the bottom of the 9th. You're right there. You're right there. You can walk off when the World Series losing play was a double play because of a broken bat! With Vladdy 90 feet away! It's heartbreak in Toronto. Heartbreak in Toronto. This is a one-taker. I'm going to do the Jays. I'm going to do the Leafs. It is 12:37 in the morning, technically. I'm doing Movember, by the way. That's why I didn't choose to look like this. I'm trying to raise money for a good cause. The Blue Jays did something so special this year. They made a lot of people fall in love with baseball. And they reminded a lot of people that they were in love with baseball. They got performances from everybody. They got record-breaking performances out of Trey Savage more than once. Ernie Clement broke a record for a sport that's been around for like 150 years for most hits in a postseason. Vladdy has been stupendous. They were the first team to ever hit home runs first 2 batters of the game. They did it in 3 pitches. They gave you everything. And they fell this close. This short. What Yoshinobu Yamamoto did in this World Series, and in particular over the last 24 hours, is one of the craziest, most impressive athletic performances I've ever seen. I have nothing but respect for him, and I hate him viscerally. You can't... Back-to-back nights? So I didn't gel my hair. That's why I'm keeping the hat. I did more watching the Leafs tonight than most fans did. And what's funny is it was actually a very good game because Leafs win 5-2 over the Philadelphia Flyers. Victory puppies and all that. That's $20 going to the Humane Society of Durham Region. It was a horrible start to the game. And then after that, it was one of the most complete games the Leafs have played this season. 1 minute and 10 seconds in, the Leafs fall apart defensively again. It's Nikita Grabenkin, because of course it is, passing it to Christian Dvorak. He scores past Stolars on the first shot of the game, and the Flyers are already up 1-0. Everything is bad. Every criticism you've had about the Leafs stands, and it took 70 seconds. It's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. But then, 6:16 into the first, Austin Matthews scores the way Austin Matthews does. Now, Flyers fans, I will say this. I criticized the Dan Vladar signing. They needed a goalie. I didn't think they needed that goalie. I don't think he's good. And for the first few games of the season, he has proved me right. He hasn't been good. He's been great. And in this game, luckily for the Leafs, he fell back down to earth a little bit. Matthews picks him apart with a vintage signature Austin Matthews wrister snipe. We know his struggles to start the season. We do. But that is a good one, and it's at a time that the Leafs desperately needed it. It's 1-1 after the first. We go into the second. That's when the Leafs break it open, and that's when everyone stopped watching because then the baseball game started. Jake McCabe scored a floater through traffic. Ugh, it should not have gone in. Was not a great goal. Assist from Chris Tanev, who we will get to later in the game. If you're like, all right, Steve, get to it. What did I miss? What did I miss? Easton Cowan scored his first NHL goal. Chris Tanev was taken off in a stretcher. Yeah, you're not gonna want to. You're gonna want to stay here and watch the rest of this. And then, a few minutes later, near the end of the second period, this connection tonight went off. Nyes and Robertson were on the wings of Matthews for parts of the night. And Nyes leaves one for Robertson, who takes it into the slot and rips the thing. This kid can shoot. This kid can play. This is the most impressed I've been with this kid in his career in the NHL, which has been very up and very down. I don't think he should be coming out of the lineup. I don't like this fourth liner healthy scratch and then first line thing going on. I think Michelli has continued to improve. Domi hasn't been bad. You're getting Lawton back. Blay looks good. Like, if the Leafs can build off of this win, they won't be far away from you thinking about them in a way like, hey, they actually kind of have things going for them. But what's funny is after the first goal, because now we go into the third, I was left thinking to myself, if someone has to come out of the lineup, I kind of think it should be Easton Cowan. Wait, give me a sec. I kind of think it should be Easton Cowan because we've watched him a bunch recently. He's been on the ice for a lot of goals against. And he's been a bit of a principal piece of a lot of goals against. And he's helping to generate offense, and there's lots of potential there. But what about the now? Cowan, to me, is the perfect player to put on your American League team. He's talented. He does a lot of things right. Put him in the American League while he can just clear. He doesn't need waivers, and have his defensive game develop there, and then call him back up when he's more of a finished product. What's hilarious is after he was on the ice for the 1-0 goal, and I'm like, there's 53 again. It was probably his best game in the NHL. Because in the third period, he gets it from John Tavares, and Easton Cowan is able to score his first career NHL goal. And everyone goes nuts. And I've said this before, I'll say it again. Nothing. There is nothing that quite hits like a first career NHL goal. It's the sort of thing your team can ride from a vibes perspective for a very long time. Now, at some point during this game, Chris Tanev is skating backwards, gliding backwards. Matvei Michkov is going forward. He can see Tanev. Excuse me. He can see, it's a one-taker. He can see Tanev, and he just goes through him anyway. Puts his shoulder right into the middle of Tanev's back. Do I think it was intentional? Do I think it was malicious? No. But Tanev's head snaps back. This is his first game back from a concussion, and he gets stretchered off the ice. Now, obviously that's super scary. You don't want to see it. David Alter, after the game, quoting Craig Berube, he says, Chris Tanev is getting more tests done, but he's moving around, and he thinks he'll be all right. Reminder that the head coach of an NHL team isn't a doctor, but it's still encouraging nonetheless. He says he doesn't know yet if Tanev will be staying in Philly or coming back with the club. So obviously that's concerning and relieving at the same time. We'll see what happens with Tanev. But that was trash. I didn't like that. Michkov went to the box. Again, I don't think it was malicious, but at the end of the day, it was interference leading to one of your most important defensemen getting stretchered off the ice. Flyers get a late power play goal. It was a beauty cross ice. And it would be the last goal that Anthony Stolarz would allow from Tyson Forster. He had his best game in quite a while. This game was how the Leafs are going to win games. They were feistier. They were getting open looks and open shots, and they weren't afraid of those open shots. And they were getting saves from their goalie, who they are paying to be a really good goalie. And it was on the road. Somehow their first road win, which sounds worse than it is. They haven't played very many road games. But obviously, you're happy about it. Calle Yarncroke got the empty netter. And if you play fantasy, Dakota Joshua and Simone Benoit got the assists. I'm going to guess you don't have either of them in fantasy, but I thought I would tell you anyway. So, they were sticking up for Stolars, which I liked. I continue to love the game of Sammy Blais. I don't think he should be a scratch anytime soon. But they have some decisions to make, man. Lorentz, I don't know. What's it? Oh my God, I'm completely blanking on his name. It's almost 1 a.m. He was on the Flyers, dude. Scott Lawton. He's coming back. I really like him. We had the same facial hair now. He's coming back. The Leafs have a lot of decisions to make, but they're not scrambling anymore. It's starting to feel a little bit like they've righted the ship. They had a really good performance and a really good win. They go into Columbus. They play pretty well. Their goalie is awful. Caden Primo did not live up to the team that night. Yeah, they made some mistakes in front of him. You're going to make mistakes any night. That's what the money is for making saves, and he didn't make any. And then they have another very solid game against the Flyers. They allowed an even strength goal 70 seconds into the game, and then never again. If you go that long, if you're that solid 5-on-5, odds are you're going to win a lot of games. The power play remains a bit of a concern. Did the Leafs get any power play goals? No, they did not. They did have a 4-minute power play at one point because Travis Konechny lost his temper. The power play is a bit of a concern. But given that the Leafs didn't have Nylander, they lost Tanev partway through, they're on the road, and they're kind of reeling a little bit. This was a really, really, really good win. And this is such a weird video. I know so many of you are devastated. I know a bunch of people watching, like it was pointed out to me, like, Steve, I want you to consider that some of the people watching LFR, they don't care about the Blue Jays. And I'm like, maybe, but it's not a huge percentage of them. We were all pretty invested in that damn thing. I guess I want to thank you all for watching our Blue Jays coverage at SDPN over this postseason. Jesse Blake streaming all the games, all the extra innings, all the holy cow. I'd love to know the total number of innings, the total amount of time Jesse spent streaming. The 18-inning game, Jesse streamed for 30 seconds shy of 7 hours. We work with some special people, man. Subscribe to the SDPN YouTube channel, please. For now, at least we get an extra hour of sleep. That is it for this one. Thank you very much for watching. Click like if you liked this video. Click subscribe if you really liked it. Tell all your friends. Don't say it. What else is there to say? Don't say it. Steve, there's always next year. I shouldn't have said it. We should have just ended the video.